everybody. I wanted to talk a little bit more about the things that you can start doing in your first year as a doctoral student to get ready for your dissertation work in year 3 and beyond. And I just did a short video on how to use OneNote to organize your thoughts as you're exploring topics. But I want to talk about a couple of other things that don't neatly fit into OneNote. So, what can you do in year 1? Of course, you're going to explore your topics of interest, things that are broadly something that you're interested in studying. And you're going to read. You're just going to read and read and read as much as you can about the particular topics. And you'll start to see gaps. You'll start to see recommendations for future research that will help you start thinking about how do I narrow this down and what do I focus on. Make sure that you are letting the literature guide your approach. Okay, this is something that I've seen a little bit. If you go in with something in mind that you want to study, you need to make sure that the current research out there supports that as a recommendation for future research or as a true problem space. And sometimes when we go in thinking what we want to study, sometimes we have a hard time supporting that because we're trying to force the literature to support our approach. So please be open minded as you're reading the literature and make some adjustments as you go. You still may be able to study the area that you're interested in, but you might need to shift it based on what the current research is telling you needs to be studied or is an existing problem space. Okay, so just keep an open mind on that as you're exploring your topics of interest. As you're going through, you're going to be using all of your databases and doing your literature search and finding all of these different articles. Keep in mind as you're searching, if you have a particular theory that you're interested in or model that you're interested in, talk to the librarians because they can help you figure out additional search terms and they can help you look at things in a different way and show you how to do your searches so you can pull up the research and articles that are closely related to what you're interested in. So if there's a particular communication model or higher education approach that you're interested in, or hiring practices or theories about management, you can share that with a librarian and they can talk to you about different ways to search. Okay. You'll get familiar with the databases. There's a lot of different databases out there. Ask the librarian which ones you should use the most. If you're a DBA student or more corporate, you can use like the ERIC Business Database. There might be some that are more focused on academic or K-12, K through 12. So talk to the librarian and get familiar with the databases. Take some time to explore Web of Science. This database is amazing. If you come across a study that you really find interesting and it has a really interesting recommendation for future research or something, you can plug that journal title into Web of Science and it will show you how many times it's been cited since it was published. And you can click on that and you can read all the articles that cite the article that you entered. And there's a lot of different things that you can do with it. You can go back to the empirical articles. You can plug in not empirical articles, but the originating theories. I can't think of the word right now. Um, the articles that originated a theory, you can plug those in, and then you can see all the research that's been done related to those. So Web of Science is a really great tool to kind of dig in specifically to topics and journal articles that you find really interesting or that have some gaps that you want to kind of follow the trail on. The other thing that you want to do is keep track of your search. And this is something that you can do in OneNote. You can add a section on search terms and just keep track of all the search terms that you're looking for, because at some point in chapter 2, you will want to reference some of the search terms that you use. So just keep track of it. And you can probably use some of those as your keywords for your study down the line. Okay, so just, drop them into OneNote and save them somewhere. By the end of residency 1, at GCU, you will decide whether you want to go quantitative or qualitative. So when you're reading all of these articles, be thinking about, are the majority of them qualitative, quantitative? Is what's emerging from the problem space, does that indicate the need for a qualitative or quantitative approach? And be prepared to talk about that in residency 1 and decide which path that you want to take. again, let the literature guide your study. I know some of us prefer to do qualitative because it takes away the math, but quantitative, because it's math, can be a little bit quicker. So, try and let the literature guide you, but I completely understand the rationale for going qualitative versus quantitative or the other way around. Okay. Hopefully, this will give you some ideas on how you can approach year one and what you can be doing. But really, year one is all about reading, all about identifying those themes and starting to narrow your topics and get your 10 strategic points um, drafted and into a good working copy. So I hope this is helpful for you, and good luck as you get started, and good luck on your way to a done dissertation.